Welcome to the Blue Heron here in Medina, Ohio. This is Mike Elkins, Kirk Gray along with us, the Wadsworth Grizzlies. This is their 2025 celebration. What a great year it has been for the Grizzly program. And Kirk, we've got a treat for all of those that are joining us here tonight on WCTV. Talk to us a little bit about what the viewers are going to see.
Well, Mike, you're correct. They're going to have a real treat tonight, a little insight into the program. Coach Todd's put together a real nice event tonight for all levels of the program, the youth, middle school, and then of course the varsity. It's just a big celebration of all the accomplishments throughout the season, the growth of the program, and we're just looking forward to having a good social time and celebrating the Grizzlies.
No doubt. It's the holiday season, Christmas and New Year. Happy holidays. Sit down, grab your favorite beverage, your favorite snack, and we're going to have some great interviews with players, coaches, and maybe a couple of parents here and there. So we'll be right back with our first interview.
All right, we're here with Coach Justin Todd of the Wadsworth Grizzlies, and we want to ask him a few questions about this celebration and about the program. I guess my first question is, Coach Todd, give us your assessment of this season.
Well, overall, obviously, our varsity, it was everything that I think people dreamed of. And I really quantify it, not in how many wins that we had or another Suburban League title, but when you truly look at our program, we asked our kids to give impeccable effort every single day. Like, we asked them to make sure that when their big moment came that they were ready. I never had to get on these guys about the way that they practiced, the way that they worked in the off season. So from a successful standpoint, it couldn't have been any more successful because the values that we were able to reinforce because of the great parents, the things that they established at home, we reinforced them. And those are things that are going to live on with this team, with these members of this team forever. And that, the older I get, the more I define success that way. And so when you can get a group of guys to believe in the same thing and fight for one another, give incredible effort, have great attitude, be super tough, then we've accomplished our goals.
So with that being said about this season, give us your assessment overall of where the program is.
I love where we're at. Obviously, losing a tremendous senior class, right? But what those guys did, everything rebooted in 2022. We had a good senior class, but a bunch of great men that bought into what we were preaching, and they wanted to be successful. And that's when we started our morning workouts. We wanted to change the toughness about our program. 20 was the COVID year. That was a mess for everybody. 21 was a reboot. And then 22, we said, this is the foundation year. Don't know where it's going to go, but we're going to start to do things different, and we're going to start to do things the way that we believe creates toughness. We're going to demand perfect effort, and we had kids that had great attitudes. So the EAT culture, really the foundation was laid in 2022. Our current seniors were freshmen then, and so they lived that from that point all the way forward. And what's been unique about each senior group is they continue to pay it forward, pass it along, and now you're looking at another group of seniors that are trying to find their way as leaders. We've got a great group of juniors and incomings. So I really like where our program's at. I think that we're in good shape. You don't replace the type of young men that we just lost, but it gives other people an opportunity to step up and fulfill their role as the next great ones on Friday nights.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why we're here tonight, to celebrate, to pass the torch on to the next group.
That's right.
And see how the program will continue to develop. Mike, I think you've got a question.
I do, Coach. If you've got a parent that might be watching and on the fence whether or not their kid is going to play football, or maybe you've got a high school student that's on the fence, what do you tell them and encourage them to come out and be part of the Wadsworth Grizzly football family?
Well, I think what's lost in today's society is being selfless, building towards something that's greater than yourself, right? And doing it along with others. The most important attribute that anybody learns is how to work with others. And there is no other sport that exemplifies that more than football. So it is a tough sport. right? And we demand a lot out of them, but the accountability that you learn in our program, the intangible things, like the morning workouts, that's not everything, but you know what? You're doing something that's difficult. You are creating a habit that not many people have, and you do it because you want to be accountable to other people. Doing tough things is super important, and the earlier you learn that, the better off you're going to be as you get older, because we all encounter difficult things in our life. And so from what our program teaches, the value of respect, honesty, accountability, the brotherhood that's formed, right? The intensity about doing things. We talk about treating women with respect. I mean, that is a big thing in our program, but most important, being selfless to one another, right? And so people that are on the fence, like it's not easy. And the things that you see on Friday nights that are a lot of fun when the crowd goes crazy and you two guys, let it rip on TV. That's not easy. It's not by chance. It's not by accident. Like, it's done with a purpose, for a purpose, and they build to that. So it's hard, it's difficult, but you're treated like a man, and out of that you become a better man. And we always tell parents and we tell kids, give us one day. Yeah. Give us one day, because you will fall in love with the culture of our program. And what is, culture is the buzzword that's thrown around, but truly what culture is it's what you see every day, what you allow to happen. And our guys model our culture in the classroom, in the community. There's not a program in the district that gives back more to our community than us. We ask our players to do that because it's important. Giving back is important. And then the other thing I would say is, of our 68 players this year, 63 of 68 are multi-sport athletes. So there's this thought that, well, these guys are big and strong, so all they must do is lift weights. Well, guess what we do? We lift a lot of weights. Like, we train a lot, but all of our guys also play other sports. When you're talking about 93% of our varsity roster is a multi-sport athlete, there's no denying that. Not only do we encourage, we promote it. We want our guys to do other things, but in today's athletics, and this isn't just Wadsworth specific, this is high school athletics in general, you have to train year round, no matter the sport. And any coach that would tell you shouldn't be training is not looking out for you as a young man, as a young athlete. They're looking out for their own, what they think is their best interest, but they're flawed in their thought.
Yeah, so being part of the Grizzly football program, it takes discipline, but you're building characters that these young men will take with them throughout their entire life. And with great labor yields great fruit.
There's no question about it. And again, our seniors were very blessed with great God-given talent. However, they maximize their ability. And that's all we want. Like, there's going to be games where we line up and maybe our God-given talent is as great as the next team's, but our effort and our objective is to maximize who each kid is. And that is our standard. And I tell our guys all the time, when I see you do something great, you've now reset your standard. Right. Because the expectation is that you do that every play.
Right.
And they believe in that because it's true. Like, if I can see you do it one time, then you can do it every time, but it's all based off your effort.
Thanks so much, Coach, for your time. Looking forward to a great evening tonight and conversations with other coaches and players. Thank you.
Hello, we're here at the Blue Heron Event Center in Medina, and we have with us Mr. Brysen Hall. Unfortunately, Rick Mooney could not be here, but we want to ask Brysen a few questions about the Wadsworth Youth Football Scholarship and the dinner that we have every year. We've been doing this for a number of years. I'm going to let Brysen explain to you a little bit about what it is and how it got started. And we just want to let everybody in the area know what the scholarship's all about and what it has to offer for students in the community.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Our scholarship dinner, this will be our 14th year. We started it, obviously 14 years ago, and the first scholarship dinner we had, one of our winners, Matt Alec, just had his first, I think it was a baby girl, So that's how long we've been doing it. We had two winners the first year, and we had 90 people show up, and Butch Reynolds, the Olympic sprinter, was our speaker. Since then, it sells out every year. There's over 500 people that come to this event. We've had speakers like Ozzie Newsome, Bernie Kosar, Chris Spielman, Jim Tressel, you name it. Recently, last year, we had Rondé Barber, and this year we'll probably have another Hall of Fame football player as well. But really, the night is all about our kids, being able to give scholarships back to our kids and raise money for our football program here in Wadsworth. When we talk to our kids and the winners of our scholarship, which if they apply, we try to give them money. Sometimes there's more that apply than we can give, but we try to give and invite as many of the kids as we can, and or young adults, I should say. And when we talk to them, we let them know that night, the scholarship dinner night is their night. It's the last night that they will be Grizzlies, more than likely, because it's usually in June or July. So it's the last night. We want to treat them as kings and queens. We give out as scholarships to former youth football players that also played a sport in high school, and we give scholarships to former youth football cheerleaders and that played a sport in high school as well. And we let them know that, that night is their night, but someday we want them, as they grow up, and hopefully they move back to Wadsworth from college or wherever they are, or wherever they land, for them to give back too, and to volunteer and to give back to the youth organizations in their city.
Brian, thanks so much for what you do for Grizzly football in our community, you and Rick as well, and we're looking forward to next year's dinner. You said it's going to be in June or July?
July. Yeah, we're not sure yet. We should know end of January. We should have the speaker lined up, and everyone, all the senior, former cheerleaders, and youth football players, be looking on social media. We'll send out the application and get those in. We'll award it sometime in May, dinner in June or July.
Outstanding. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
We're here with All-Ohioan wide receiver Calix Lemp. And Calix, I remember watching you as a freshman on Friday nights. I mean, just to watch you grow as a football player, as a young man. What has it meant to you to be part of this Grizzly football family?
For sure. I've been growing up since super young. I've been in football my entire life, and being a part of the Grizzly community and being able to grow up with all my brothers and being a part of this brotherhood, it's something special for sure. Like we always say, like these are going to be my dudes for life, and I know I always got a brother whenever I'll need one. So it's been special.
Awesome. So what is your favorite play? What is that play that sticks out in your mind? Kirk and I have been talking about this. We had dinner the other night. I'm going to guess what it is, but you tell us.
So I say if I'm playing outside receiver, I think my favorite play is forward. I like running a deep post, and then if I'm running, well, last year I'd say if I was in slot, I liked running the boss route, which is like a slot post as well. So anything that sends me deep, pretty much, I like going deep. So those are my favorite plays for sure.
Well, I'm talking about, Kirk, that defensive play that you lost your mind in the press box earlier this year. Tell us about that play.
Which one? The pick six?
Yeah, the pick six, the 99-yarder.
That was pretty cool. I was on my guy, and I saw the ball get tipped, and I was like, oh, wait, it's coming to me. I got to get this. And then the ball's in my hands, and I saw some green grass, and I was like, all right, I could potentially take this back to the house. So, no, it was super cool, and it got right into my hands, and I was like, all right, got to see what we can do from here. So
the cheetah, Calix Lemp takes it 100 yards for the pick six, and we have just shut the door on the Twinsburg Tigers.
We'll get another look at it and find out who tipped that ball up in the air, but Lemp with a great play, great focus on it.
Presence of mind to see that, and he just went.
So here we go, Fantone trying to sneak it in there, and it's 13 is on that's the Twinsburg player tipped it, and you're not going to catch Calix Lemp.
No, this guy 15 just said, you know what, there's no way, and Calix is just in form. I mean, there goes the cheetah. That's all you can say, man.
Well, certainly always a playmaker. The ball was in your hands, and you found a way to get in the end zone a lot over the last 4 years, offensively and of course, defensively. What would you say you're going to take with you to the Air Force Academy from the program that it's taught you?
For sure. So I'm going to be playing a position called a Z position, and it's pretty much where they can put me outside, inside, running back. It's a little bit of everything. So I think what I've learned to be to be and grow as is being dynamic and not just being able to play one position or do one thing. I can run deep. I can learn how to run routes. I can do jet sweeps. I can do all that stuff. So just being dynamic and be able to take that to the next level, I think, is super important.
Well, I tell you what, everybody back here is going to be tuning in to everything in Colorado to watch you at the Air Force Academy. We're all very excited for you. It's hard to believe it's come to an end, that we've got to say goodbye to seeing you on Friday nights, but boy, did you bring us a lot of entertainment, and boy, we really are going to miss you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, now we're here with Cooper Gray, All-Ohioan running back. And Cooper, you carried the bulk of the ball this year. Gavin Madigan playing both sides of the ball. You predominantly offense. How was this season different from your junior year? And talk a little bit about your experience being part of this Grizzly football family.
Well, yeah, for sure. Last year was predominantly Gavin getting most of the carries until the Nordornia game where he got hurt, and then I had to step up and take the rest of the carries for the rest of the year. Being part of the football family has really helped me grow as a person. You know, being around the same guys has helped like a bunch of things. Like, we've been really close and helps out with like our comfortability, telling people like, hey, you're dropping below the standard and whatnot.
So Coach Todd talked a little bit earlier with us about selflessness. So, you know, in Cooper Gray's mind, what makes a great teammate?
Someone who's willing to do what's best for the team and not for themselves, like giving up their, like Luke Maddox when he blocks on the outside even though he's not getting the ball. That's a perfect example of selflessness.
Who's your favorite college football player of all time?
All time, Saquon.
Saquon Barkley. I thought you were going to say Kirk Gray.
No, I don't know that I would fit into that category, certainly. What I want to know, son, what was the play that stands out for you the most? Over the last 2 years, were 3,000 yards, 44 touchdowns. Is there one that just jumped out at you that you are going to make sure you remember forever?
The catch down the sideline against New Albany, I think.
Yeah, that was a pretty dynamic catch.
Mike! He's going to go, Mike! He's going to go, Mike! Touchdown, Cooper Gray! Are you kidding me? He would not be denied. He spun, he kicked, he kept going, Mike.
Watch this. I watch it. He's wide open, but it's the yards after contact, trying to strip the ball. He's holding onto the ball,
Never
and he
stripped
just
out. He just kept going.
and he just keeps turning. It's lightning. It's lightning, folks.
What do you want to say to the kids that are coming up? The young kids, the middle school kids, the freshmen, and as you guys pass the torch tonight to this junior class, any one message you want to give them?
Keep working.
All right. Thank you, Cooper.
We're here now with All-Ohioan Gavin Madigan. And Gavin, we just spent a few minutes with Lightning. Folks, now we have Thunder, also known as the Tank, when he would run the football. Been watching you on the varsity level for 4 years. What a joy it has been to see you and Calix develop and become leaders on the football field. Talk to us a little bit about that process and looking back, reflecting back to your freshman year, how you have grown as a man in the program, but also as a teammate.
Yeah. My freshman year, we had a great senior class that kind of showed me the ropes, and I was kind of a sponge that year. I tried to take everything in. They taught me how to lead, and so I just kind of felt like I took steps each and every year. Again, my sophomore year, we had a great senior class with guys like Will Stack and Kyle Figueroa and all those guys. So I think each step of the way, I learned from other leaders in front of me, and then when I got to my senior year, it was kind of my turn to pay it forward.
So you're going to the Army. And thank you for your service in advance. What are you going to? I'm stealing a question from Kirk. What are you taking from Wadsworth to the Army?
I think it's just how to serve, how to use my platform, which in high school has been the football field, and I think being able to represent what I represent on the football field, but then be able to pass it down and use my platform to do something even better. I think that's what I'm gonna bring to West Point in the fall.
Gavin, I've been watching you since you were really little, and this class is just so special. It's special to me personally, but special to this community. Is there anything in your career in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, for in your case, 3-time captain, is there any single thing that stands out that you're going to remember when you're our age?
It sounds silly, but just probably waking up and early in the morning at like 5:45 and lifting with the guys in the off season, just doing hard things together. I think that's what stands out the most. That's what I've learned the most from the program.
Yeah, that's the right answer, because I can tell you from playing a lot of years, you remember a few games and you remember a few things, but you never forget your buddies. So you just said you're going to West Point in February.
Yep. It'll be in June.
Okay. Okay. You have an overnight visit in February. You're going to go for June to report. How excited are you? Tell me how excited you are to play. You know, everybody got to watch the Army-Navy game. It had over 7 million people were watching, one of the highest rated games they've had in many, many years. Tremendous game, 1-point game. Didn't fall the way we wanted, but how excited are you to go play at West Point?
I'm really excited, but I think this fall, it didn't really hit me yet because I take pride in being where my feet are at and, taking care of my schoolwork and taking care of the football season. But once that page kind of turned and the last couple of weeks, it really hit me, and watching that game gave me goosebumps. So it's got me really excited, but, just trying to stay present.
Well, I can tell you what, watching that game gave me some goosebumps too, thinking about you being there next year, certainly. And look, we're so excited for you. We're going to be watching the television for what's happening up in New York while you're up there, and looking forward to seeing you when you come back, see how you develop. And again, as Mike said, thank you so much for the service to our country by attending West Point. What would you tell these kids that are running around here and this junior class that you're getting ready to pass the torch to? What would you tell them from your experience what they need to focus on next year and then beyond?
I would just say don't miss a moment. Like you said earlier, I was fortunate enough to score a lot of touchdowns, run for a lot of yards, and make a lot of tackles. But I was talking to my dad the other day. None of that really stands out to me. It was the relationships I made with my teammates and all my great coaches, and then just going to practice every day, lifting in the weight room. That's kind of what stands out to me. Again, I couldn't tell you a whole lot of touchdowns play for play, but the stuff that stands out to me is my teammates and my coaches. So just don't miss a moment and take all that stuff in.
Well, I've been telling your dad for a long time, you're the best high school football player I've ever seen.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it, though.
Well, I've been saying it for a lot of years because I've been watching you for a lot of years, and you brought a lot of excitement to this community with your offensive and defensive prowess. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
We are here with two of the linebacking core of the Wadsworth Grizzlies. We've got Ryan Stoops and Brad Watson. And guys, linebackers, a staple of success, if you will, for Wadsworth Grizzly defense. Talk to us a little bit about how you stepped into that role and contributed on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, this year it was a newer position for me, so I wasn't 100% comfortable with it, but, the whole offseason I was working on it. First game, Barber and I didn't do much, but the rest of the season I got more comfortable, and, it's linebackers, it was so fun this year. And, going to be violent, it's what Wadsworth football is about, so yeah.
Being violent.
Yeah.
Well, coming from a guy that played linebacker, it's probably outside of probably free safety the funnest position to play on the football field. Being a senior, 4 years in the program, talk to us about what it means to be a Grizzly as you exit and you're leaving your legacy, if you will, to the underclassmen.
Yeah, Coach Todd was one of the best coaches I've ever had. Well, he was the best coach I've ever had in my life. He didn't teach us just about football. It just had to be great men and great husbands when we're older. And I'll take that with me in college and the rest of my life, and it was really helpful.
Outstanding. Kirk?
Brad, I've been around you guys since you were little. It's been wonderful watching you guys develop and play. Tell us a little bit about Brad, sticking with it. Coming into this year, not a former starter, stepped in and started and had an outstanding season. I would say for both of you guys, changing positions, Ryan, as you did last year. Tell us a little bit about what that meant to you to be able to step up your senior year and have such an outstanding performance.
I mean, honestly, it was kind of a mental battle with myself. Before season, I wasn't even sure if I was going to stick with it.
Right.
And then me and Coach Todd had a little conversation, and he really kind of made me realize how important it was, even if I wasn't a starter, how important my role was on the team. And I think that having Coach Todd and then all of the captains like Gavin, Jake, Calix, Gabe, all of them encouraging me and pushing me to be my better self, I think that's what really made me perform after Bowden went down. I think that's what made me perform my best, was having those guys around.
Well, I'm glad that in one sense it's just you two standing here tonight, because what you two individuals have done in the last several years, changing positions, continuing to fight as you came up through the program and getting your opportunity, and both of you having such outstanding seasons. I just want to commend you both, because that's what it's all about, being there. When if you'd have decided not to do what you did, there would have been a hole in this team. And, it's unfortunate with Bowden's injury, but you came in and had an outstanding year. And Ryan, I always said Alex Miller played that position better than anybody until this year. You were outstanding. Physical, the things that you did were just outstanding. So tell us, sticking with it, what is the message that you want to give to these little kids that are here tonight, the younger kids, the middle school kids, and as you pass the torch tonight in this celebration onto the junior class, what's the one message you want to give those guys as you step away?
I think the most important thing would just to be, you're going to regret it if you don't. I know I don't regret a single thing after that final whistle blew. I would never regret a thing. I knew from the moment.
That's a great message. Ryan?
I had to change positions last year, and I had some doubts about continuing to play football, but I talked to Coach, and, it was the greatest decision I've ever made to keep playing, and it's the greatest sport ever, greatest coach to play, and it was awesome to play football.
Well, I tell you what, Mike and I have called your names a number of times last year, or this past season, and we're gonna miss you, certainly, as we will all your classmates. It was a tremendous class and a tremendous season, and we're just thankful for all you did, the entertainment and excitement you brought this community. So thank you very much. Good evening. We're here with the Vice President of Wadsworth Youth Football. Jeremiah, tell us a little bit about the state of the program and how the program is growing and the development of the program and what you see as the future for the Grizzlies as they progress through the program.
Wadsworth Youth Football is in a great spot. We're growing year over year. We're up 8% this year over last year, and this is our second year on our all-internal progressive model, as passed down to us from Coach Todd, where we progress in football, which is contrary to the history of football, very similarly to every other sport, correct? In baseball, you start with T-ball to coach pitch to kid pitch, right? In basketball, you start with a shorter rim, and there's different rules. Right. Why has football not been that way? So Coach Todd, we talked about it. That's exactly how we're doing our youth football now. We start from our flag to our padded flag, which is full contact, but still full. We're wearing helmets, we're wearing shoulder pads, we're still cracking pads, but we're pulling flags. And we go to our rookie tackle, which is less kids on the field still. And then eventually we get up to our 11-on-11. Okay. So this year we went from 4 teams to 5 teams at each division this year. From padded flag we had 5, rookie tackle we had 5. And then we had 36 sixth graders this year playing 11-on-11 tackle football. So we're just looking to build on that. And really the focus this year, it's on the kids, but it's also on how can we coach our coaches? How can we teach the mentality? How can we teach the scheming? How can we teach the everyday drills that Coach Todd does with our high school kids? How can we pass that down to our youth level to really have that streamlined system of youth football from the moment they touch a football when they're 4 years old to when they're scoring on Friday nights as seniors. So I'll tell you what, youth football in Wadsworth, it's thriving, it's growing, and it's getting bigger year by year. So I'm excited for it.
Is there, and Mike asked this question of Coach Todd, is there one thing that you would tell the community, the young parents in our community, the people that are moving into our community because of our schools and so forth, what would you tell them to engage them to come out and give youth football a try?
We have one goal in Wadsworth Youth Football: get them to come back tomorrow. That's our number one goal. We want to develop great football players. We want to develop kids who love this sport. We want to develop kids that come back tomorrow. And most importantly, above all else, we want to develop great human beings. And in my opinion, as a kid who's played football since I was 10 years old, right, that my bedrock of my ethics and how I operate every day, most of that, 99% of that, because I got to give Mom some credit, was formed by playing football with my buddies. So we're just trying to recreate that here with Wadsworth Youth Football.
That's a wonderful answer and a great message to the people in our community.
Talk a little bit about your coaches. You talked about training the coaches. Talk about the relationship between the youth coaches and the high school staff.
The relationship is great. I mean, we've got so many things in place where we're going to have coaching clinics, where we're going to teach. We're going to take Coach Todd's practice scripts that he does with the varsity guys. We're going to show this to our youth coaches. We're going to say, these are the techniques, these are the drills, these are the formations you see on Friday night. We're going to do them on Saturday mornings at Summit Toyota. You know what I mean? So it's a very melded situation where we're learning firsthand from Coach Todd and all these other coaches about how Wadsworth football should be played and how we can start at a younger age, because if we start at a younger age, they're going to be so much more developed as they get older than they have been in the past, which is no discredit to how anyone else has done it, but, you know, everything evolves. Right. So we're trying to evolve Wadsworth football the same way.
So if I'm a parent at home, how do I get involved with Wadsworth Youth Football?
Well, you can give me a call if you want. No, you can actually the same website that you find Wadsworth Grizzly football for high school. There's a youth link right there. We're on all the social medias. You can reach out with any questions, concerns. I'll come out to your house. We'll talk about it. I completely understand. There's a big stigma. There's a fear with sending your little baby out there and putting helmets on him and worrying about what's going to happen when you get out there. My wife still has the same concerns with my 8th grader who's about to be a freshman. I get it. I understand it. I understand those fears. So let's talk about it. And let me explain how Wadsworth Youth Football is taking every precaution necessary to make sure that not only are we developing great Grizzlies, great human beings, but in the safest way possible.
Well, we appreciate what you do for Wadsworth Youth Football and the community, all of the volunteers. I know it's not easy work. So, Jeremiah, thanks for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Hello, we're here with Tim Campbell, the Director of Athletics at Wadsworth High School. And Tim, this has been an outstanding football season and an outstanding athletic season through the first half almost. We were talking just off to the side about a lot of different things. You run the program, and we're glad to have you, certainly. Tell us a little bit about the football program, the athletic program, and something that you spoke out on the academics of the program.
Yeah, I think, our kids in general, football, volleyball, across the board. I do the grade checks of these kids, and they're not just special on the field. They're special in the classroom. They're special in the community. I mean, Wadsworth Community asked for some helpers for the Christmas trees in the park, and 31 football players showed up. And then there were lacrosse players there too. And, so the number of kids that show up just because somebody asked for help is amazing. So we really do have great kids, and it starts at the top, right? So, the coaches that are in place to guide the kids and the leadership that they provide is second to none.
Well, is there one message that you give your coaches in the program, at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year as a roundup? Is there one message that you want to, help them stay the course, and then as they go to their individual teams and build their own culture, what is your singular message to them from a guidance standpoint?
Well, I think we're all team players, so we're all Wadsworth. We're one community, one team. Obviously a lot of different individual sports teams, but at the end of the day, we're all one. So we all support each other. We share athletes, and that's required. So, what can one sport do to help the other sport, and how can one sport culture help benefit another sport culture? And I think you do see that. You see constantly volleyball at football. You constantly see football. We saw it the other night at basketball, and all those basketball players are at football games. And so they all support each other. So the culture of just one is really big.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Mike?
What separates Wadsworth Athletics from maybe other schools in the area?
Yeah, I think one, the leadership. I got to go back to our coaches. Second to none. Our parents, as you can see in this room here. I don't know if the TV knows where we're filming from, but everybody's invested from top to bottom. So I think the fact that our high school kids and coaches give back all the way down to the youth is special, and it's unique. So when you're building a program, it's no surprise that it carries through here all the way to the high school, and you keep these kids involved because of what the seniors and juniors do to give back. And again, it goes back to the leadership and the guidance of the coaches.
Appreciate everything that you do in Wadsworth athletics. I know every Friday night you're there in the press box with us, and you are one busy man. I know that for a fact. We're here now with Chad Wolf of the middle school football program. And Chad, welcome to tonight's event. A lot of stuff going on here tonight, but we've learned a lot about Wadsworth football, the youth level, the varsity level, but there's also the middle school level where that's where you really begin to see some development into these kids and fitting them into certain positions that they can, hone their skills and as they go to the next level. Talk to us a little bit about that process in the middle school.
Okay. Well, the thing I love about the middle school is we generally get 45 to 50 kids in each grade. So we get really good numbers, which can be tricky with playing time. Sure. But really what we try to focus on is 22 kids playing each game. So at least 22 kids is what I should say. So we try to start 11 kids on offense, 11 kids on defense, both at the 7th grade and 8th grade level. And then the second thing we do is we have what we call our flip game schedule. So our flip game schedule is, because our numbers are so big, is what we can do. Those kids that maybe are newer to football or need more reps, what we do is we'll have like a Thursday, a second game for the week, and then what we'll do is we'll get those kids also reps playing as well. So I feel like we do a really good job of supporting the numbers, keeping kids involved, and just falling in love with football at the middle school level. Yeah.
Chad, you and I have been doing this for a long time. Yeah. Your kids, my kids, and the experience that they have at middle school, what I've seen from the days when my kids were there, and even since then, I went to a number of middle school games this year, to see some of these up-and-comers is they all seem to be having a lot of fun. Yeah. And that's something that I've always taken away from you, is you really are engaged with the kids and they have a lot of fun. Tell us, how do you drill them? How do you go about during the week just keeping them pepped up and keeping them so engaged?
Well, I would say you have to have a lot of energy. You got to have a lot of energy. And I would say at night when I go home, I'm really tired. You can ask my wife during football season. It's to bed early. So, yeah, it's really like, as a coach, this coaching, you got to bring the energy, man, and you got to make them excited about football. And if you're passionate and you bring that energy, they're gonna follow suit. They're going to be passionate about it. And really, you're right. At the end of the day, you want to make it fun for them. You want them to come back. Yeah.
Well, what we've seen, and we were just talking to some of the youth coaches and directors, is keeping the numbers, keeping them coming back. And I can remember days before Coach Todd where middle school was maybe not as fun and not as engaging. And what I've seen, as you said, we've got huge numbers, playing additional games. The development of the program. What when you start each year, what is your goal? What is your thought when you step out? All these new kids that are just coming up from the youth level, how do you gauge success?
This is the honest truth. Obviously you like to win. You want to win football games, but at the end of the day, like what's best for me is, like, as a 7th grade coach, if we get 45 kids coming out in 7th grade, 45 kids coming back out in 8th grade. In fact, it'd be even better if you get 47 kids coming out in 8th grade. So I really judge success on, I like to win, but I like to see those kids come back out. Like, they enjoyed football and they come back out and play again in 8th grade.
Well, I agree. We're a competitive community in all sports. We want to win, but as I've said many times, and Coach Todd and I've joked about this, they don't give a state championship trophy out in 7th grade.
No.
So you're right, and we love what you're doing down there and representing the middle school, and the number of years that you've put in. It's made a big difference in the program. There's any number of people that will identify that. So thank you so much, Chad. We really appreciate it.
You guys. All right. Thank you very much.
We're here with All-Ohio quarterback Brysen Hall of the Grizzlies. And Brysen, freshman, game number 2, you enter in as a backup quarterback down in New Albany. You start game 3, and you haven't missed a start since then. As a sophomore, talk to us a little bit about your progression from freshman to sophomore year, leading this Grizzly offense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm thankful to be surrounded by great teammates and coaches that push me. So obviously I was thankful for the opportunity as a freshman. And going into my sophomore year, I know I had to make it get better, obviously, learn from my mistakes as a freshman, and just get better in every aspect of the game, and there's still a lot of things I need to work on even going into next season.
So we got a lot of young kids here today running around, and a lot of young kids on Friday night. They watch you play, behind center. What advice would you give the young kids in terms of, hey, I want to be a quarterback? What type of work do you have to put in to be an All-Ohioan?
Yeah, for sure. Just to all the young kids, just know that it takes a lot of work, but nothing's impossible with God. And just if you put in the work, your hard work will pay off. And never think anything's impossible. If you work hard enough for it, you can get it.
I love that, because you do have to put the work in. There are many people that are gifted, but they don't develop those gifts further. So that's a great answer. Kirk.
Brysen, many of us have been watching you for a very long time. Obviously, you do put in a lot of work that people don't see. The reps that you put in at the middle school on a random Saturday or Sunday, off season, and the camps and clinics that you go to. Those of us closer to you are aware of all that you do. What I'm most interested in is the fruits of some of those labors. Tell me, maybe last year, but this year, is there one play, was there one game that you just felt it, or something happened special that just stuck with you from this season?
Looking back on the season, if there was like one game that something felt special, I feel like the Nordonia game did this year. As far as our past game, I just felt like everything was clicking, and it felt like all of our concepts and everything that we work all offseason, we were able to connect on all of that. So that felt like a special game.
Well, that game was clicking. I think you had over 350 yards, many touchdowns, and I think that was our highest scoring output of the season. So yes, things were clicking. It wasn't just, you weren't just feeling it, we were all seeing it too. So as Mike said, there's a lot of young kids here. You got a younger brother that's a quarterback.
Yes,
that I'm sure looks up to you as well. You're the leader now. This class has stepped aside. You're going to be a junior. You're the quarterback. Get a lot of credit, get a lot of blame. What's your attitude going into next season? What are you going to do to be the leader of this offense and the leader of the team with your wealth of experience?
For sure. I mean, one of the biggest things that I'm looking at on this offseason is we got a high standard already, but what can I do to raise the standard, Mm-hmm. And it's not easy. It's not an easy job, but I feel like we'll be able to do it with the amount of work that we put in. And yeah.
Well, you're certainly going to have some weapons. We've lost some weapons, obviously, to graduation. But, sitting down at the table, there's a number of weapons coming back, too. Your sophomore class is got some wealth of talent in it as well. And we're really looking forward to you and the team. But we just want to thank you for all the excitement that you brought the community and all the entertainment on Friday nights. It was wonderful to see.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and congratulations on that. But I do know that, at the end of the day, it's not just the Suburban League title that you're satisfied with. It is that state title. So what words of advice, before we let you go, what words of advice do you have to those in the community and your teammates for getting to that next level, to raising that standard?
Yeah, as I said earlier, we gotta figure out a way to raise that standard. Really, the little things are what matter a lot. The things that people don't see, the things that people don't even think of. I think that's something that could raise the standard. And obviously, just putting in that work. I mean, we got to do more. We didn't do enough last season. We've got to do more this year.
Thank you. Thank you, Brysen.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we're here with Calix Lemp and Luke Maddox, wide receivers for the Wadsworth Grizzly varsity football team. We've been talking to a lot of these players, again, seniors here tonight, and we want to ask these guys what the program meant to them and some of their most memorable accomplishments. Calix, we talked to you a little bit earlier. Don't want to expire all your thoughts, but is there something else that you could say that you're going to take from this group, from the offense, how explosive it was, averaging almost 45 points a game and over 400 yards a game? What are you going to take away from the offense?
For sure, I can take away many things, and one of the things is I think that we can spread the ball around really nicely, as we had a great run game and a great receiving game, and I feel like we had a bunch of weapons that could make plays and stuff like that. And I think what it taught me was that we all had to work to a team and work together to make our goals and make what we had to do and get done. And I feel like not only did I build a brotherhood with these guys, but I built a family and guys that I can trust. And know on a deeper level than just football.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you were so explosive all year. I seen you run down the field, and as you said earlier, those big plays. That was what you're going to remember. Personally, hitting a big play. Luke, saved your best game for last. As far as getting in the end zone, and that's what's so painful. But to me, and I said this to you early in the year, your impact as an offensive player, blocking for the run game, and we're going to see some big hits from you tonight on the screen. I've already seen some of the video, and I think that's a big part of being a wide receiver, not only in general, but for the Wadsworth Grizzly program. Tell us a little bit about the pride you took in not only catching the ball when you got the opportunity, but in filling in, making those blocks for whoever's running behind you.
Yeah, so at Wadsworth, the receivers and everyone, we take pride in blocking for everyone. When Coach Herrick came in this year, he kind of made an emphasis on blocking, make sure we're good at blocking. And so, as me and Jalen, Jack, we all did a really good job this year at blocking, and that was a huge part of our offense this year and led to a lot of explosive plays. So. Yeah.
Well, it certainly did, and having that as a big part of your role, you, as you mentioned, Jack and Jalen, in the roles that you played was so important. What are you going to take away? Last year, this year, what are some of the key moments? And look, you can brag on yourself. Is it a big play you made, whether it be a block or a catch? We asked Calix too. We want to know what you're going to remember. We want to tell the people at home what it meant to you.
I'll remember the brotherhood and just Friday nights. That Avon game with that crowd, and there was a helicopter coming up above us. There's nothing better than that. But I'll really miss those Friday nights and just being with my guys every night and every practice. That's what I'll take away the most, probably. But yeah.
Anything else, Calix? I know you guys have been involved in so much over the years. Been playing football for the last 10 plus years, each one of you. Is there anything you want to share with the community about what it means to be a Grizzly football player?
Nothing. Like I said earlier, I think it's just special to be a Wadsworth Grizzly and growing up in the program and being able to go through all these stages like this event tonight. I think it's cool that we're allowing the varsity guys and all levels from flag football, little youth football, all the way up to this. I just feel like it's important. I feel like it's such like a special culture that we have here, and I feel like this is an amazing experience, amazing event, and it means so much to be a Grizzly.
Yeah, whoever's not playing football, you should really go play Wadsworth football. Just the brotherhood, the culture, the leadership that, like, when you're a player, you hold that accountable to everyone and everyone around you. So, yeah.
Well, guys, I'm certainly going to miss you guys. I've been watching you since you were little. The excitement over the last couple of years, the entertainment that you brought to the community, like you said, the stands at Avon, that atmosphere was tremendous, and it's a testament to you guys and your performance and the people that you are. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm here with Dominic Jackson, Gavin Madigan, Calix Lemp, Jude Holler, and Tommy Hahn. This is our defensive backfield. This is where everything stopped. A lot of pass breakups, a lot of interceptions. We want to talk to this group a little bit about their impact on the defense, one of the most prolific defenses in the history of Wadsworth football, and they were the last line of defense in this case. I guess I just want to pass this mic around and have you tell us, and I know we've talked to Gavin and Calix already, but talk to you guys and tell us what being a Grizzly means to you and something that you're going to remember, whether it was a play, whether it was a speech in the locker room, a lift, as Gavin mentioned, a lift at 5:45 on a cold Monday. Tell us something that you're going to take away from being a Grizzly.
I'd say one thing that I've learned throughout growing up in Wadsworth is just the community that we've grown up in and surrounding ourselves with great people like Coach Todd or guys like you, guys that continue to work and help out the community. I've just learned to not take that for granted. So.
Well, thank you very much. Gavin, tell us something that you haven't said.
He made a good point about the community. I think it's a shout-out is definitely necessary. There's a lot of people here that have made a big impact on the Wadsworth football program and in our community, but even there's a lot of people that aren't here tonight that have had a big role in our community, and we take a lot of pride in playing for our community and representing them well because they do so much for us, and we try to repay it the best we can.
Calix?
One thing I want to say is that I don't think I'll ever forget the speeches that we had pregame and the dog soldier speech that Coach Todd would say. I mean, that's one of the greatest things I've ever heard, and it truly will stick with me for the rest of my life. And just having so many influential people in my life that has been able to shape me, shape us, and I think it's so special that we're allowed to represent the community and basically play for Wadsworth. It's such a cool feeling and atmosphere.
We have Jude Holler, sophomore, one of only 2 sophomores that were a full-time contributor. Jude played last year, and he's going to be the one that's going to have to bring back what these guys are taking away, and he's going to have to set the tone, maintain the standard, and we want to hear what Jude is going to do, not only taking away from this season, but Jude, I want to know what you're going to do going forward.
Yeah, so I learned from the best here. You know, these guys played as freshmen. Tommy played as a sophomore, so I'm just going to try to do my 111th next year and lead these guys and just win football games.
All right, Tommy, tell us what it means to be, Mr. Stickum. You're all over those receivers. The last 2 years you've led in pass breakups. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to take away from the program.
What I'll take away from the program is just how much it allows us to grow together and how close we become with the guys around us.
Well, this group, has had a number of accolades on it. These guys have done a tremendous job. It's probably the best defensive backfield that I can remember seeing in my 20-plus years of watching Grizzly football. It had always been an Achilles heel, and that's what everyone would say. We had a great defense, but we just couldn't stop the pass. And I know there's some people watching, Brett Randolphs and Jake Herberts and some of those guys that would argue. But I can tell you, when you guys were out there on the field, it was hard for the opposing offenses to pass the ball. And it's the best group that I've seen, and Jude's going to lead the next group. And thank you for all that you did on Friday nights for this community and for this program. It's been wonderful watching you play.
Okay, we're here with Nathan Shipley and Colton Levitt, members of the defensive line. We've talked about linebackers today. We've talked about defensive backs and how the DBs are the last line of defense, but you guys truly are the first line of defense. And, that front three in the Wadsworth Grizzly defense has been historically known as very athletic, very quick, but you guys brought something bigger this year. You guys were bigger, faster, and stronger. Nathan, talk to us a little bit about what it is to be carry that pride of Grizzly defense on that defensive line.
I think it's very, very, how do I say it? It's very heartwarming for us to be a Grizzly, especially on the D-line, because we're just out there in that trenches, doing the dirty work, really. And then, really, it's just doing the dirty work, because some guys just don't want to really get into that contact with those guys very up close, and we're glad that we just have a great D-line.
So what's the key to being successful on the D-line then? You talked about the dirty work, and it's in the trenches. I mean, there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat, right? What's the key to being successful?
Basically just get that good level, good extension, working together, and making that QB step up in the pocket and closing that pocket so he has nowhere to go.
Okay, so if you had the best memory for Nathan Shipley on the defensive line, what is it?
Best memory?
Best memory.
I'd say Jaden Gross jumping up in the air and coming down with that interception again.
You mean Little Chef, right? We got to call him by his proper name.
Little Chef.
The chef was cooking on that one, Mike, in the backfield. Not only did he bat it up in the air, he fell to his back and welcomed it in. Interception, Jaden Gross.
How about that?
How about that? Big
Jaden
block.
Gross off the left side. He sets his eight.
Yeah, he sniffed it. He sniffed it and stopped, and then got his hands up like exactly how they teach the D-line. My boy J.C. Price is watching at home. That's how they teach the defensive lineman to get up. And look, he found it. Came right back down to him. And the Grizzlies going to take over 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard.
You did so many things for this team this year. Coming back from your injury, obviously, not something we want to think about, but having such a successful year, you anchored the defensive line, and I said I wanted to talk about not only that, but what you did as an H-back, and then stepping in and letting the folks at home know, stepping in, sliding down, and playing some tackle for a couple games when Britton, who we'll talk to, Gavin, we'll talk to him soon, when he went down. Just so versatile, playing both sides of the ball. What was your mindset? Like, what were you thinking when you had to switch jerseys at one point during the year to play offensive line, but still playing defense? And then coming back and trying to get as much of it as you could in this year because of what you missed last year. Tell me what was going through your mind this season.
Honestly, I was just thinking more football. You know, when I was playing tight end, we had two other great tight ends, Jacob Ernest and Dawson Mendel. They were able to give me breathers on offense and as well as defense. But when I got moved to O-line, it was here we go. You know, every single snap, there's no coming out, there's no one coming to save me. So I was really honored when they asked me to come down and play because, you know, I feel like it's the ultimate selfless position and you know, there's not a lot of glory in it, but the teammates and coaches will see that, and that's ultimately what matters.
Okay, I want to get back to defense real quick. Early in the year, the first key to the game I had was our defensive line. What kind of imposition were you going to make on the offensive line that was going to change the defense this year? And we saw that early on. How do you feel like your role as a defensive end, what was it this year that was different?
Probably the athleticism, like Mike said over here. You know, we're not the biggest, but we do have speed, which most offensive linemen don't have. So we were able to get edge pressure on the quarterback most of the year and make him step up for our noses and our linebackers to sack him. So D linemen, we talk about doing our 111th on the field. You know, don't step out of your lane to try to make the hero play, because you take that risk, you open up something else for the offense to take. You have to be disciplined and be okay with not making the play every time and allowing our other players to make plays.
Well, we loved watching this defense play. Nate, a junior, coming back. You're going to be the leader on that defense, you and Jude. You're going to have Bowden with you at the linebacking group, so we're going to have somebody at every level. What are you going to tell the people, these young kids that are here tonight, the juniors, such as what is your message, Colt, as a senior stepping away, being in this program for so long, to remember? What are you going to tell them to do to continue to hold this standard?
First of all, you got to go to the off-season workouts and conditioning if you can. If you have no job or no other sport that you're attending, you must be there just to keep the culture and the morality up, but also being able to stay in shape to be able to compete with the other teams who are doing the same exact thing as we are. So just be consistent and disciplined with what you do.
Okay, hearing that, Nate, we're about 3 weeks in, off-season preparation. Off-season's already started. Tell me, what have you been doing?
So I'm in a winter sport as of now for wrestling, but I'm part A, B, and C group, so that means I work lift 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. So I come in morning, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning, and I just get it going, get the guys moving, just trying to get a great workout in and stacking those days.
Well, that's great. Coach Todd mentioned it earlier, having multiple sports, and we really appreciate the fact that you're a wrestler, but you're still competing, still getting the guys motivated while you're going through that winter season. And I know as soon as that's over in late February, early March, and maybe longer for you, that you're going to be right in there every day driving the bus. We appreciate you guys. Brought so much excitement to Mike and I up in the booth and the community. We enjoyed watching you guys play and Colt playing all over, but certainly that defense was the tip of the spear, that defensive line, and you guys really made a big difference.
Last question. This is for Colton. Colton, D-line coaches, sometimes they have a tendency to really get after you, if you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Any parting words to your D-line coach?
Stay hard on the younger D linemen. Don't take it easy on them, and make sure they don't jump off sides in practice.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed watching you play. Nathan, thank you.
All right, we're here with the Grizzly offensive line, 4/6 of them. Unfortunately, Merritt Fortner couldn't be here tonight, and Carter Raymond, but we've got the seniors and one junior, and we're going to ask him a tricky question for next year.
All right, we got Gabe Lutke, Gavin Britton, Aiden Meistrix, and Jordan Jones, JJ. We're going to ask him a couple questions about what it meant to block. And I've got some stats, and Mike told me to brush up on these stats. You guys blocked for, in your careers, almost 3 miles of rushing. Almost 3 miles of rushing. You know, Brysen has had almost 3 miles of passing the last 2 years. This year, outstanding year. 2,500 yards passing, 2,000-yard rushers. But between Cooper and Gavin, they had over 40 touchdowns rushing, and we had 29 passing touchdowns. It's all because of you. So tell us, what does it feel like to have that hanging on you? Because you guys don't get a lot of this. You know, you don't get your names in the paper, unfortunately, and that's what the position holds. When you sign up as a little kid, that's what I want you guys to talk about. What does it mean for you guys to generate that much offense? And what are you going to tell these little kids that are running around here that are one day going to be some linemen themselves?
You want me to hold it? It definitely means a lot to me. All the glory and praise, I don't really need it, or none of us. It's good to give it to all the skill players, but we just hold a high standard in our offensive line room, so that's why we do what we do.
It means a lot to me because I blocked for them all these years, and I learned from some of the best throughout the way. It just means a lot to me.
I also think I like what they said. It's just a matter of being selfless, and that's the main thing that Coach Todd teaches us is being selfless.
Yeah, just reiterate what they said, just playing for the team and making sure like the team just wins.
So let me ask you guys this. You know, Gabe, 3-year starter, and went down unfortunately. Aiden steps in. What was your role? Tell me a little bit about your role, which I heard about Sunday night. Tell me a little bit about your role when that happened. You know, when your season got cut short.
First off, I was bummed that my season got ended, but next man up. So Aiden was the next guy up. Standard didn't drop at all. My role was just to teach him everything that I knew and just help him to the best of my ability that I could.
Gavin, first-year starter. You've been in the program since it started, since you were a little kid. You have been playing with these guys. You've been blocking for these guys. What did it mean to you to get to the point in your career in development? You changed your body. We talked about that Sunday night. You know, your development. What did it mean to you to finally get the opportunity? And when that opportunity was there, just take it and just level up this offensive line group.
It was a great opportunity they gave me, and it felt great blocking for all my guys that I grew up with through all the years, and felt great blocking beside all my best friends that I grew up with too.
All right, Aiden, you got a lot of the greenness wore off now. You're not going to be green next year. You're going to be a returning starter in a lot of cases. Gabe has given you all his wisdom. I hope he gave you some of his little anger that he's got, his little nastiness too. So what are you going to prepare yourself for, knowing you're going in as a starter? You and Carter, 2 offensive linemen coming back. You're going to have to lead, not only by example, but you're going to have to bring some of these other young guys along. What's your thought process going into that?
Yeah, I think it's just about being a leader, not only like in the weight room, but around the school, and like teaching the younger guys of like, this is how we do stuff, this is how we've always done stuff, and this is how we're going to keep doing it.
JJ, it wasn't so long ago you almost decided not to play football. Gonna go to lacrosse and try that fancy new sport. And I can remember telling your parents, be a huge mistake. And for the last 2 years, and stepping in also as a sophomore when you had the opportunity due to injury, you stepped in a number of times, and just developing into a man and holding down that left side. What did you learn through that process? Like, how did your mind change? Like, you know what? I'm the guy. I'm going to be this lineman, and these guys can run behind me because there won't be anybody there to tackle them.
Yeah, so after like going into my junior year, like the summer, I really like saw like my importance to the team and what I needed to do for them. and just the love between each other, like made my love for the sport grow more. So then I decided to stick it out, and we had a great season.
I'm going to pass the mic down to each one of you. Tell me one play this year that stood out to you, something that you sprung a long run or you put a guy on his back, something that was extra special that you're going to take away from this season.
One play that I remember is the Brecksville game. I came back after a back injury, and it was a screen play, and I just demolished.
Say it.
I just demolished one of the defensive backs. So yeah.
One play that I remember is the Brecksville game, first homecoming game I ever played in, and I sprung a big run really early on. Got Cooper scored like a 75-yard touchdown off of it early, so that one I'll always remember.
Touchdown, Cooper Gray! That's a 64-yard burst just off the left side. Exceptional blocking. We didn't even get to call the kids' names out. They're busy blocking.
I think if I had to ask one, I'd probably say the Stowe game for that one play that Dawson had for a big touchdown. I really like that one because he's not a guy that always gets the ball and shows a lot of respect to him.
And Dawson bent down.
He was bracketed. He pulled it out of nowhere and just kept going.
And look at the celebration. I mean, we talk about
his first touchdown.
Yes, that's his first touchdown. We talk about how close this group is, how they love one another, support one another, encourage. Here's Brysen Hall, plenty of time, steps up in the pocket.
Just swings it.
And
look at this.
into double coverage.
Oh, the rev over his shoulder and just brushed everybody off, Mike. That's incredible.
On the coverage, Riz.
I also got to shout out Dawson. So against DeSales, we just ran the same play over and over again. We ran, it was what, two smack or something like that, and me and him would just double team the end every time, and we sprung like 2 touchdowns off of that play.
All right, last question here. They're asking us to wrap it up. What are you going to tell these young guys? Because a lot of times they don't see offensive line being glorious, but I can tell them, but they won't listen to me. You guys determine the success of the offense. What are you going to tell them?
I'd say it's probably my favorite position group. You don't get much glory, but I'd say it's pretty fun. And then, I mean, if you like being violent, then the O-line's definitely for you.
I'd say stick with it no matter what. I mean, this is the best. It's the brotherhood down here, and it's where you get your violence out.
I'd say keep your head high because during those long summer practices can be demotivating and you don't always get the glory, but keep your head high, you'll have success.
I would say like you will get your moments whenever you are a lineman, and just grind out the days with your boys, and then the glory will all come once it's over.
All right, thank you so much, Gabe Lutke, Gavin Britton, Aiden Meistrix, and Jordan J.J. Jones. Thank you guys. Enjoyed seeing you all season. You guys, to me, are what drove this offense, and thank you so much for what you did for my son.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.